Hey, okay, so now let's learn how to read guitar charts, okay? So, when we are learning guitar chords, we have to understand how to read the guitar chart. So, the first way to look at it is that you have to understand that the guitar perspective is as if the guitar were facing you. Okay, so the string all the way on the right is your first string, that high E. To the left, the B, then the G, then the D, then the A, and the E. Okay, so the farthest left is your sixth string, the lowest string, and the string on the line all the way to the right is your first string, okay, your E. And you have to understand that this perspective, this face to face perspective, we then are holding it as we hold the guitar horizontally, and then as we shift it to this kind of vertical position, we're still looking as if it was head on, okay. So first of all, I want you to make sure you understand where your strings are: one, two, three, four, five, six, and then obviously the names of the strings are important to learn, and the solfege names are important when you speak to musicians from other countries. So it's a good idea to be well versed also in that language too. So the first chord that we're going to work on is the E major chord. The guitar starts with a low E and ends with a high E. So this E major is the first chord that we learn. Um, and so to start, I want you to notice that the finger hand, okay, our left hand, we're going to have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. The thumb, we don't give a number because that is always behind the neck. Okay, so it starts with our first finger on string 1, 2, 3. Do you see that? And it's on fret 1. To understand the frets, you have to think that these are the frets, each of these, boxes. So this is the first fret, this is the second fret, this is the third fret, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. But then you must know that when you play in any of those frets, you have to play just behind the this line, which we call the fret, but this is fret 1. So when you're going to play in fret 1, you go behind the actual bar. This is the fret. Right behind it, you don't play on it, and you don't go too far behind. So fret 1 is in this first box area, okay? And so the numbers that you see there are the number of the finger that you're going to use, either 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it's first finger on string 3 in the first fret. So we count 1, 2, 3, and we put our first finger down. And when we put that first finger down, we make sure that we are tunneling so that we are not hitting any other strings. It helps that our nails are short so that we can really use the tips of the finger and bend at all of the knuckle joints that you have. Then I recommend that you start follow by placing the second finger. Okay, so the second finger is on the fifth string, so 6, 5 on the second fret. So you go right behind the fret, and the third finger's right behind the second, okay, on string 4. Okay, once you have this chord set up, again, check that all the fingers are nice and round. And then you're going to do a test by playing each string individually and listening that each string is resonating and ringing. Otherwise, if you hear something like this, you realize, wait, there's something going on with the finger. Perhaps you're not bringing the string all the way down to the fingerboard, okay? Or perhaps your finger's too far back, or it's on the fret and it's maybe buzzing. So you want to go through and hear, oh, this is not ringing so well. So you want to bring the finger further down. And sometimes you might hear, if you're not tunneling, you could be hitting other strings and they could be muted. So you must tunnel, again, bending at every knuckle joint, okay? And once you have all of those strings sounding good, then you've got your E major chord ready to go. And with your thumb, you can start strumming down, okay? And then with your with your middle finger or your first finger, you can do an upstroke. And keep this nice and soft just to get your E major chord going. Okay, now once you do have this shape, let it go, release it. You're going to notice that you have these little ridges on your fingers. It is a little bit painful in the beginning. That's normal. I rub my fingertips in this case just to ease off the pressure, and then go back to finding that shape where your first finger goes on that third string, the second finger on the fifth string, second fret, and the third finger right behind. Make sure that the first finger is not on string 2 or string 1, but really on the third string, and play it again, and then release and see if you can actually place your fingers in this shape. That's what you're actually working on, is how you can get your hand to memorize this shape and how quickly you can bring your hand up into that shape, from nothing into that shape. And that's going to take a little bit of time, okay? Because in the beginning, sometimes folks are placing their fingers, they're rounding it around, they're squeezing it together before they actually get that chord going. And then once you have it, play around with it a little bit and enjoy it, okay? You can even do a little plucking as if you're playing an imaginary harp. I love to do that. After you have your E major chord pretty confidently uh, uh, figured out, then you can actually play your E minor chord very easily. So it's very important to know that when you're learning an instrument, you have to know the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Notice how there's no I, no J, no K, okay? No H. So what you have to do when you're learning guitar is learn the major and minor chord for every letter, okay? So A major and A minor, B major and B minor, C major and C minor, D major and D minor, E major and E minor, F major and F minor, G major and G minor. Okay, so the first is obviously this E major, which we have. And to go to E minor, it's so easy. All you have to do is lift your first finger up, tunnel that 2 and 3, keep the other fingers hovering in the air because you're going to need them later. Okay, not like this, that's not great, but nice and soft and round and hovering in the air. And this is your E minor chord. Okay, minor tonalities are have a darker feeling to them. They're a little bit more emotional. Sometimes they say they are the sad chords, okay? While as the major chords have this uplifting, happy, enlivening energy. And it's just by the fact that this note is going up and the minor chord is going down, so it's bringing us down here. And both feelings are important. We need both in the world, and in order to play them, I want you to just practice going between the two. So start with your E major chord, play it 4 times, and switch to your E minor chord. Back to E major, and you can just do downstrokes and minor. And it's just getting used to if you can place that first finger. You can play around with it, okay? Wonderful. Leave on a positive note. So now you have your E major and E minor chords. You understand that the chord chart is the perspective of looking at the guitar right on, okay, face to face with the strings, so that you can orientate yourself a little bit more, that when you look at chord charts in the future, you can figure out where your fingers actually go, okay? So in our next video, we're going to work on the A minor chord, okay? Ciao.